today's sequence, hello, kitty kitty, is going to be all about creating length in the spine. So we're going to be exploring lots of postures that's going to create length in all different kinds of angles. And the idea is to combat any compression that we may be experiencing from things like sitting at a desk for longer. Those of us who are now working remotely may be spending a lot more time sitting in a chair. And those are sitting in a chair and also picking up, heavy things. These are things that are going to cause a compression in our spine, which can lead to chronic or persistent back pain. So we're going to see if we can counteract that today. You can add this into your flow daily, just to kind of keep your spine elongated and kind of greased up, so to speak. But we'll go ahead and get started. I might have to move little kid or cat here, although she looks so comfortable here. Let's see if we can just scoot you right there. So we're going to start off in butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. So drawing the soles of the feet together. We are going to take the fingers and the thumbs and press them into the arches of the feet and roll those arches open like you're opening the pages of a book. So once we have our legs placed there, and you can play around with how far away you keep your heels from your sitting bones, or maybe you pull them in close, whatever feels comfortable and allows you to create the length that we're looking for in the spine. So once your legs are placed, we're going to then work on creating a stacking of our vertebra. So creating length through the spine, one vertebra on top of the other. We're making sure our shoulders are directly over our hips as we're doing it. So for me, that means leaning back just a little bit because I tend to want to plunge forward. So finding our posture, stacking one vertebra on the top of the other. And once we feel stacked, then we'll start to pull the crown of the head up to the sky to lengthen the cervical vertebra in our neck. And once we're here, really feeling ourselves grounding in our sitting bones, you can even take some rocks or rolls from side to side or back and forth just to really feel connected to your mat today. And once you're feeling good, I'm going to offer a breathing sequence. So you can take it or leave it, or just breathe naturally if you just choose not to take it. So the breathing sequence that I am going to offer is we'll inhale through the nose, and then we'll sigh it out the mouth, and then we'll alternate the next time as we inhale through the nose. Then we will take it down the back of the throat if you have your Ujjayi breath. So it'll sound like that. Or if you've never heard of that, you can just breathe out the nose instead. And then we'll take it again. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth, inhale through the nose, exhale down the back of the throat. So I'll guide you through one, and then we'll just breathe together. You can choose to focus on a drishti right in front of you, or close your eyes. I would recommend not looking at the screen when you're doing this, just so that you can really tune into your own body and your own breath, and hopefully I can do an okay job at leading you so you won't have to look at the screen. Okay, so find your drishti or close your eyes, and we'll begin with our inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Ujjayi breath down the back of the throat, or out the nose if you don't have it. And begin, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, keep it inside. Continue on your own. Seeing how long you can make each inhale and exhale, and trying to make them even. Engaging through the belly, pulling the core to the spine, lifting the pelvic floor as you're breathing. Using the inhale to lengthen even higher, and the exhale to root through the sitting bones even more. And you feel the difference as you exhale through the mouth versus keeping the exhale internal. Do you feel a difference of temperature? Does it do anything different to your body? A few more rounds. Begin to breathe either more naturally or tune into your Ujjayi breath. Keeping that exhale now internal each time to create body warmth. Creating the fire within our hearts and our bellies. And if your eyes are closed, we can blink them open. On an inhale, grow even taller. And then we'll picture as if somebody has your heart or your chest on a string. Start to hinge forward, keeping the spine nice and elongated and straight. So no roundness. I'll flip sideways so that you can see. We're just hinging at the hips, keeping that length. So we might not be going very far. Maybe you're only able to tilt forward just an inch. That's fine. Again, we're really working on the length. If you'd like to get into the hips even more, maybe you would lightly press down with the elbows to open at the hips. Gaze off the tip of the nose. So if you're looking forward, you're breaking up that beautiful line and the elongation of the spine. So making sure our neck, our cervical vertebrae are just in line with the thoracic and the lumbar as we stare off the tip of the nose. Breathing deep. Our pelvic floor is lifted and our core is engaged. We'll call that the locks, and you'll hear me cue it in a lot of different asanas. And really we should think about in each pose we're engaging those locks, lifting through the pelvic floor. Belly button is pulling to the spine and then up through the ribs. And as we exhale, we'll start to come up to our center. We're going to send the right leg out long and then pull the left heel in towards the sitting bones. Flex the right toes back towards you, and on an inhale, we're going to reach that left arm up and then out and around to the right toe. Really stretching through the side body here, so we're not dumping down into the stretch and creating that roundness. We're reaching up at a diagonal, creating lots of length. Lots of space between the ribs. Our gaze could be forward, or maybe it's even up and over the bicep. Again, we're being pulled by that string on our heart. Our chest is coming forward. Our breath is flowing. A couple more. And as we exhale, we're going to reach that left arm down to the ground, plant it, and then lift the hips up high. Right arm is going to then reach up and around. And again, we're finding the space in our right body now. You can gaze down at the hand, or again, up and over the bicep. One more big breath. As we exhale, we're going to lower our hips and take our original pose again. On an inhale, reach the left arm up and around. I should say up and out. Really thinking about breathing into the intercostal space between the ribs. So not just in our lungs or our diaphragm, but really filling up our back and our side body with all that oxygen. And exhale, plant the palm, and then lift the hips. Our locks are engaged. One more big breath. And exhale, lower the hips. We're going to go ahead and pull that right leg in, find a cross-legged position, stacking vertebra on vertebra. Shoulders are over hips, create your length. And then we'll start to fingertip ourselves towards the edge of the mat. So we're gonna pull the fingertips as far away from the hips as we can while keeping our spine straight. If that feels like enough, again, we wanna make sure that we're really pressing our hips down so our hips are not coming off the mat. They tend to want to in this pose. So once our fingertips are really far away, if you have any more space, then we'll pull that heart through. So again, I have a string, I'm pulling your heart through, recreating the length, pressing the hip bones down, gaze off the tip of the nose, keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. Our breath is strong, our locks are engaged. Exhale, start to walk the hands back up. This time we'll send that left leg long. Pull the right heel in towards the sitting bones. Our left toes, I know you can't really see them, are flexed right up towards you. We always want to keep those feet engaged so it keeps the leg active. On an inhale, reach the right arm up and then take it at that diagonal, reaching up first and then towards our diagonal. Lots of space. Find your drishti where you'd like to put your gaze. Our sitting bones are grounded, our pelvic floor and our core are engaged. We're finding our breath. With every exhale, see if you can let go of any tension that where your body is trying to hold on and say, oh, no further, no further. See if you can melt it away with that exhale. And try that in every pose we take. It's all about creating more space. Exhale, right hand plants to the ground. Inhale, left arm high, hips high. Gaze over that left arm or down at the mat if it's more comfortable for your neck. Maybe you even push the hips forward towards the front of your mat to open up a little more there. And exhale back down to the mat. We'll take it one more time. Inhale, reach up and long. Flexing the toes. Maybe even opening the heart up to the sky. One more big breath. And on an exhale, reach that right arm to the ground. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the left arm, find your side body stretch. And exhale, come back onto the sitting bones. We're gonna pull the left foot in, draw the soles of the feet together. We're back in our Baddha Konasana, but we're gonna change it up a little bit this time. Grabbing hold of the ankles, pull the belly button into the spine, and then start to rock back to the back of the hip girdle. Once you're there, your arms can be kind of straight. You're gonna tuck the chin, and as you exhale, we're gonna work to get the crown of the head down towards the soles of the feet. So now we are rounding. Big breaths. Maybe you shake out the head with some nose or nod the head yes, just to really make sure that the neck is nice and relaxed. And then one vertebra at a time. On an inhale, we're gonna come back up to sitting nice and tall, stacking everything one on top of the other. Exhale, come over the ankles, find your tabletop. Tracking our shoulders over our wrists. Our hips are over our knees. Find some cat and cow, but first engage those locks. Pull in the pelvic floor, lift the core, and then as you inhale, find your cow. Drop the belly a little, release the chin. Exhale, start to round. Press through the fingertips, round out the back, tuck the chin, and inhale brings you back to your cow. So find that flow, a little cat and cow on your own breath, moving with your own rhythm. Find a neutral spine. We're gonna walk to our puppy dog pose. I'm gonna scoot back so you can see. We're gonna take the chest to the mat, walk the hands out right in front of you. Allow the chest to be on the floor. So your head, your forehead can go to the mat. I can't, otherwise you won't be able to hear me, but it can go just like this. And if you'd like a little more, you can spider up to the fingertips. And if you'd still like a little more, you can bring the chin to the mat. This is a nice little shoulder stretch and spine lengthener. Deep breaths here. We're going to push to a child's pose, so we'll come through our tabletop and just sit back on the heels. Draw the forehead back to the mat, spider up to the fingertips, and breathe. This is a nice place to set an intention for your practice, if that's something you like to do and you haven't already. On an inhale, we'll rock back to our puppy pose. So pass through the all fours, our tabletop. Reach the hands out long, draw the chest to the mat. Maybe the forehead too, or maybe the chin. Maybe the fingertips come up to spider. On an inhale, we're going to pass right through our tabletop again and press one more time back into your child's pose. Big exhale. Maybe when you're there, you even find one of those clearing breaths we took in the beginning, where we inhale through the nose and we exhale in a deep sigh out the mouth. On an inhale, come back to your tabletop. We'll move the hands one handprint in front of where they would be naturally. Then we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips, and find your downward facing dog. Once you get there, get a little warm. So nodding at the head, yes and no. You can walk your dog out by bending one knee and straightening the other. Waking our bodies. Big breaths. Our pelvic floor is lifted. Our belly's pulling to our spine. Once you're there, find some stillness. And maybe the hamstrings are really tight. If that's the case, put a lot of bend in those knees. They don't need to be straight for this next exercise. So once you're there, you're finding some stillness. On an inhale, lift the heels high. We're going to press through the fingertips and send the hips even higher. So again, you can do this with straight or with bent knees. We're not working really on the hamstrings. We're looking for length in the spine and height in the hips. As you exhale, side out the mouth and draw the heels down to the mat. We'll take it 2 more times. Inhale, lift the heels high. Send the fingertips through the mat and lift the hips even higher. Exhale, ground the heels. Inhale, lift the heels. Press through the fingertips. Give the hips even higher length. Exhale, lower the heels. Yeah, let's do one more. That felt so nice. Inhale, lift the heels. Send the hips even higher. Exhale, heels to the mat. We'll hold here for 3 big breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to start slowly walking the feet to the top of the mat to meet the hands. Bend the legs once you get there. And then go ahead and reach around the thighs with the arms. Hang the head heavy, and maybe you even take more yeses than nos to make sure that we're not gripping on that neck any. Just lots of relaxation. Stay here for a bit. This is going to help to relieve that lower back. And when you're ready, again, one vertebra at a time. You can see the theme here. We're gonna stack one vertebra on top of the other, rolling up into our mountain pose. The chin will be the very last thing to lift. Nice. And once we're there, on an inhale, send the arms up high. We're gonna make a bracelet around the left wrist with the right hand. And on an inhale, create a little length, lift a little more, and exhale, reach over to the right side, keeping the hips stabilized. So not taking them out to the side, they're gonna track right under the shoulders. We're working into this side body. Again, think about somebody pulling your heart through, breathing into the rib cage. Exhale, back to center. Switch out your bracelet, put it on the right hand. On an inhale, reach up high. And exhale, reach over to the left side. Inhale, take it back up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. So maybe you draw the hands to the shins, or maybe it's the quads. You can kind of play with what's more comfortable for you. And on an inhale, we're gonna find our cow. Draw the crown of the head up to the sky, and the tailbone is gonna reach up as well. On an exhale, we're gonna round, tuck the chin, round through the spine. Inhale, back for a cow. And exhale for a cat. Continue that again. Find your own rhythm, find your own breath. Next time you're in your cow, stay. Making sure we're not locking out our knees. Put some slight bend there. Deep breaths. We're gazing down at our mat, keeping our neck in line with our spine. Our tailbone is reaching up and away from our head. And when you reach your exhale, forward fold. Hanging out just for a bit. Again, and legs can be straight here, or they can be bent. We just want to think about keeping that cow tilt in our hips, so our tailbone is still pulling up to the sky. One more big breath. And shift the weight into the palms. You can step or hop back to your chaturanga. So arms come to a 90-degree bend. Inhale for up dog, or maybe you take a cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pull in that belly nice and tight. And on an inhale, we're gonna keep the toes tucked and just drop the hips to the mat. Floating goddess. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Holding the core tight the whole time. Inhale, back to floating goddess. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take that flow again on your own breath, or maybe 2 or 3 more times. You can change it in any way that feels nice. So maybe you stay for an extended floating goddess, and maybe you rock the hips back and forth. Or maybe you just stay in downward dog. Whatever's serving your body, follow it. Take one final breath. We'll meet in downward facing dog. On an exhale, begin walking the palms to the back of the mat to meet the feet. We're gonna inhale, lift up halfway, create length through the spine. Exhale, fold. Bend through the left knee. Take the right hand and grab either hold of the ankle for a big twist. Maybe just like a little one, you can place it right between the feet. And then we'll reach up high with the right arm. Our gaze can follow and look at the thumb of the right hand, or if that's not comfortable for the neck, it can be down at the mat. Big breaths. And we're gonna think about pulling the crown of our head forward to the top of our mat. And pull the hips to the back of the mat. So there's a little push-pull happening, or I should say pull-pull happening. Exhale, right hand comes back down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. We'll take side B, so this time bending the right leg, deciding if you'd like to take the palm between the feet or grabbing onto the left ankle. And when you're ready, on your inhale, reach that left arm up high. And finding that twist that starts at the core. Pulling the crown of the head forward, the belly button gets pulled to the spine, the hips are pulling up, the tailbone definitely is pulling up to the sky. We're grounding our feet into the mat. There's so much happening in this pose. One more big inhale. And as you exhale, lower the left hand to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up. We'll tap the palms at the top. Turn the toes out. On an inhale, let's go ahead and reach that heart up. Really elongate through the spine. And as we exhale, we'll find a yogi squat. Come on down. So you can adjust here as you need. Maybe you take a wider stance. If you'd like to kind of create more length, you can even stay high on the hips. Or you can sink down to get a little more grounded. Either way, we want to think about pulling our tailbone to the mat and pulling the crown of our head up to the sky. That's that length that we're looking for. Maybe we even start to push the hips forward if you'd like to get more into the hips. Squeezing the glutes here. A lot of back pain can come from weak glutes, so we really want to think about squeezing our glutes in most poses. Big breaths. You can close the eyes if you'd like. If you've closed them, we'll blink them open. Reach that right hand past the right toes, and we'll take an open twist. So on an inhale, reach that left arm at a diagonal, nice and high. Gaze is going to go up to the fingertips. This is an open twist. And exhale, come back to center. We'll go ahead and switch sides, taking that left hand just past the left toes. Reach the right arm up high, gaze follows. These are two different variations of open twists that we've just done. And exhale, come back to center. We'll go ahead and draw the hands to the heart, close the eyes. Take one big clearing breath. In through the nose. And then when you're ready, let it go out the mouth. Plant the hands, turn the toes in, send the hips high, forward fold. We'll go ahead and walk the hands back to your downward facing dog. Sending the hips high. And as you exhale, find your plank. So coming, shoulders are stacking right over our wrists. Crown of our head is pulling away from our heels. Our belly is pulling into our spine. Our gaze is down to the mat. Just holding for a couple breaths. And as we exhale, we'll lower all the way down to the mat. We're gonna find a Sphinx pose. So coming up to our forearms, tracking our elbows right underneath our shoulders. We're gonna think about grounding our hips down, squeeze the glutes, pull the belly button to the core, and then, most importantly, that string on your chest, or pulling the heart forward. Gaze off the tip of the nose, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Pull the crown high. Deep breaths. Next exhale, come all the way to the mat. I'm gonna scoot back so you can see. Go ahead and put your chest on the mat, maybe even the chin or maybe the forehead. Reach the hands long and spider up onto the fingertips. And just take a couple deep breaths here. Hearing your breath against the mat, echoing back to you. Allowing your breath to ground you. Drawing up the stillness from the mat or the earth that's beneath you. And when you're ready, we're going to take a few locusts. I don't know if that's the plural, I think it is. Lifting through the core first. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we're gonna lift the fingertips and the feet off of the mat. Hold, pull the heart through. Squeeze those glutes. Exhale, lower. Inhale, take it back up. Reach, reach, reach. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, take it up. And exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, reach as high as you can. Best one so far. Everything is squeezing. Lots of energy, even in the fingertips and the toes. Exhale to lower. Go ahead and bend both knees. And windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Release the low back. And when you're ready, we're gonna flip to our backs to find our Shavasana. If you have a block, you can take a supported bridge for your Shavasana. If not, ignore what I'm getting ready to do and you'll just find your back. If you do have a block, take your block and place it right under your sacrum. So not anywhere on the spine, making sure it's really on that solid part, right where your tailbone would be. And you could take your Shavasana in a supported bridge. So wherever you've landed, either with or without the block, palms face up. Eyes close. And our breath begins to soften. Maybe if you have the block, you choose to bend the knees in a bridge pose, or maybe they're straight. Taking one more second to visit our mantra or our intention for our practice, if we set one. If we didn't, maybe taking a split second to visit a gratitude that we have or that we're feeling. And then let it go. And just be. Decide that you're going to stay for a while and give yourself this time. And that's where I'll leave you. Namaste, my sweet friends.